Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and we got to check this video out, man. Jake Paul, who is, if I'm not mistaken, getting ready to fight Mike Tyson. I don't know why he decided to do that. I guess it's about the bread, but this dude has like 4.6 million followers on X, another 20 million on YouTube, another 18 million on TikTok. This dude's huge, 26 million on IG. I mean, it's ridiculous how many people are watching what this guy does on a day-to-day basis. It's amazing, but he does something that a lot of folks didn't think would be done or didn't think that he would do. You guys got to see this for yourself. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, join the ARP family, man. Click that join button down at the bottom there. You see it. And without further ado, let's go.
Nervous, scared to make this video because of what it means in terms of my career, my life, people coming after me, more accusations, more turmoil, more division potentially. However, I just want to provide information to the potentially undecided voter, the things that I have seen over the past couple of years that have led me in a certain direction as to who I am supporting in this presidential election. And most of all, encouraging y'all to actually vote, encouraging y'all to actually do your own research and to base that research in the truth, not just reckless propaganda or your favorite pop star telling you to vote a certain way and you believing them because you love their song. And with that said, after watching this video, you shouldn't necessarily just listen to me either. Do your own research before you go and vote, but I highly, highly, highly encourage you to exercise your right to vote. Because I moved to Puerto Rico in pursuit of becoming a world champion in my boxing career, I have rescinded my right to vote. But that doesn't mean I can't present my 80 million large audience with proper facts, numbers, and data to encourage them to vote in the proper direction to quite literally save America. And I'll start off with something that bothered me recently was Tony Hinchcliffe, a comedian who made a bad joke. Obviously, he's doing his job, trying to be funny, but him talking smack about Puerto Rico was not funny. And I want to shine a light on.
It definitely wasn't funny. I didn't find humor. It didn't seem like people at the rally found humor in it either. But shout out to Jake Paul for calling it out. It needs to be called out. When we see things on our side that isn't right, we have to be bigger than those clowns on the left. We got to call it, and we got to call a spade a spade. And when it's not right, when it's wrong, we got to call out the foolery. You have to. So shout out to him for doing so.
The fact that these aren't Donald Trump's views. It was a comedian who made a bad joke.
I have no idea who he is, never saw him, never heard of him, and don't want to hear of him.
Tony, while I love most of your work, Puerto Rico is the most beautiful place on earth, and the people here are absolutely incredible. Wars, health, guns, jobs, economy, inflation, border control, freedom of speech. The list goes on and on and on with the number of problems that America currently faces. And I don't come to you to make this video to create more division. I believe love is the key to the universe and that we should all love each other more and more and more. And it saddens me that in the current political state of the world in America, people can't have opinions without outrageous backlash. And I truly believe we can all agree on that things just don't feel right. America doesn't feel good. It shows that we are more divided than ever. And I can't sit back and watch this blasphemy unfold in front of me any longer. What is the problem? Democrats have been in power for 12 of the last 16 years. So if we aren't happy with the current political state, economic state, environmental state, then who is to blame? Tim Walz, the vice presidential candidate, has even said this himself.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
We can't have 4 more years of this. Even Tim says there needs to be change, and he's right. We need to change from Kamala Harris to the Republican candidate, Donald Trump. Tim, I remind you that your running mate, Kamala Harris, is vice president, currently in the office, and hasn't done anything while she's in office. basically no accomplishments. Let's start with a chart of inflation during the Biden-Harris term. Their overall inflation is 20.2% compared to the Trump-Pence administration with an overall inflation of 6.7%. Statistically 14% better while Trump was running the economy. As you can see in every category, energy, gasoline, rent, and food, the numbers are exponentially lower and the lowest of the past 30 years of presidents. Again, regardless of your emotion, I'm just presenting you with facts. Do I think Donald Trump is a perfect human being? No, I don't think anybody on this planet is a perfect human being, myself included. Don't judge.
There's only been one perfect individual to walk this planet, and it's definitely not Trump. It's not me. It's not you. There's only been one. And to hold someone to perfection, I just don't think it's right. And you don't have to like, his candor, his brashness. You don't have to like it. We got to just look at policies over feelings. So many people are, emotionally wrapped up into this election, and they're looking at things that have been said in the past, or really and truly, it's clips that's been taken out of context and that has been presented to the American people. And they've looked at that and said, oh man, Trump's, he's bad. And they've called him every name but a child of God. Need to take the time to do their own research. And I appreciate Jake Paul, one, for starting this video off saying just that. Take that time, do your own digging and research. But I do appreciate the fact that he's laying out some facts. But then after you watch this, take the time to go do your own digging, go do your own research, and then make an educated decision based off of the information that you've uncovered for yourself.
People off of a character that the media has portrayed them to be. Because Democrats control 90% of the US media, so they will paint a picture to y'all, and that picture is what they want you to see. And to be frank, I'm not concerned with Donald Trump's character flaws or what he's done in the past. What I'm concerned with is how good of a president is he? Because that is his job, and that is what's going to affect the people of this nation. Oh, Bill Belichick, so hard to work with. He's a dick to all of his players, but yet he's the most winningest coach in all of the NFL. We're not here to call names and get involved in emotional battles. Let's look at who was a better president during their terms. Statistically, the next major point that always comes up is abortion. Donald Trump abortion. Donald Trump isn't protecting women's rights. That's what the media has painted to you, and it's absolutely not true. Donald Trump was the president before for 4 years. What rights as a woman were taken away from you? The answer is none. Donald Trump wants to put the power into the hands of each state to determine whether abortions will be legal there or not. So if you live in a Democratic state like California, yes, the Democrats will vote to allow abortion in California, putting the power in the hands of the people. So while many women are focused on this single issue voting, I encourage you not to be a single issue voter.
He was already president, and how many rights did you lose? 0. He's trying to protect women's rights. What do you think it is when we have men in women's sports? We have men in our personal spaces. What do you think it is when dangerous men come over the border? That's what protecting women and children is. Oh, he already said he's not going to do a nationwide abortion ban. He's not going to do it.
Facts. And if you really cared about women and their opportunities and their lives, I think it would be better to have a president that doesn't want biological men competing in women's sports. How many opportunities over the last couple of years have been stripped from women who spend their whole entire lives in a sport, hoping for opportunities for it to be taken away by a biological male? And not to mention biological men in women's restrooms. What world have we gotten to where that seems acceptable and that is a political discussion in any way, shape, or form? And as a future father, you will find me dead before I send my daughter to a school where men can go into her bathroom and where men can compete against her in sports. It's bullshit. That is taking away a woman's rights. And I don't hate trans people. It's not an attack against them. I believe adults should dress and act however they want, but you shouldn't encroach your rights into other areas of delusion and infringe on other humans' basic rights. And
he's absolutely right there. These people adjusted Title IX. They expanded Title IX protections to include discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation, aiming to protect the alphabet community students more fully in schools and on colleges. They did that. They allowed trans women, men to participate in sports in high schools and in colleges. It's not right. And for those that say that it's not happening, it is definitely happening. We've seen it in swimming. We're seeing it right now in volleyball. The crazy thing is that you don't have more women standing up and fighting against this. So here it is. You have the sitting vice president telling anybody that will listen that Donald Trump is infringing on women's rights. He shouldn't have any say over a woman's body. And to be honest with you, I agree with that, nor has he done anything to infringe upon the rights of women. Has implemented laws that actually takes scholarships or has the potential to take scholarships away from young women, take roster spots away from young women, and potentially place young women in harm's way with these radical rules and laws that they've implemented during this current administration. It's sad and it's scary.
Caitlyn Jenner herself is a perfect example of this, and someone who carries herself perfectly in a complex and tough situation and conversation across the world. And as a man, you should be offended by the fact that Kamala Harris goes on a podcast saying that there is no law that governs a man's body.
Can we try to think of any law that gives the government the power to make a decision?
I know what you're going to ask.
About a man's body. Let's
No.
just pause.
No.
Is there any law?
No.
Hey, Kamala, what about the draft, which requires men to fight for their country, die, go to war, or face imprisonment and $250,000 in fines?
Absolutely. And they just passed in Congress recently that young men no longer have to worry about signing up because you are automatically enlisted in the selective service. It automatically happens now. Now, some of that is just, not having to spend the money sending out paperwork. They just automatically do it. Lord forbid we find ourselves in a situation where we have to implement a draft again. Young men all across this country will have no say over their bodies, and they will be forced into combat zones. They will be forced to go and serve and fight for this country. It's real, man.
What about that law, Kamala? As a man, that should frustrate you that she's neglecting the truth about what men do for this country. And women do so much for this country. But let's not make this a battle of sexes. Everyone is equally important in this discussion. And sorry, Thor. Yeah, I know. It's madness. It's a crazy world. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, that's Thor. He's voting for Donald Trump. I would also argue that Donald Trump is protecting women by not letting 15 million illegal immigrants through the borders. 662,566 have criminal histories, 13,000 convicted of homicide, and so on. Having those unidentified people roaming the streets, I believe, arguably, is a bigger potential threat to the women of America. Even the Border Patrol Council, the people who are in charge of the border, endorsed Donald Trump. Quote, "If we allow Border Czar Harris to win this election, this great country is going to hell."
The untold millions of people, unvetted, who she has allowed into this country that are committing murders, robberies, burglaries, and every other crime will continue to put our country in peril.
Take it from the people who are actually on site, actually managing the border, not from me. And throughout Donald Trump's campaign, the left, who owns 90% of the media, has convinced the world that Donald Trump doesn't like gay people. But when we pull up the footage of Donald Trump's past, supporting gay people, people will want to ignore that clip.
I'm all for guys that like men, but it's just not my thing.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
And then we pull up Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden, who are all Democrats, being anti-gay and anti-gay marriage and campaigning it publicly. It's on camera. Roll the clip.
Do you support gay marriage?
No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman.
But somehow they convince people that no, Donald Trump's the bad guy. Meanwhile, he's hosting gay marriages in Mar-a-Lago. And as he should. We're all for people loving whoever they want to love. What we're not here for is adults campaigning in the streets to young children to have surgeries that will affect them for the rest of their lives when they don't know who they are, what they want to be, or what they want to turn into. And people should really understand the difference between those two ways of thinking. You have to be 18 to vote, 18 to smoke, but you can mutilate your body at 10 years old. It's not okay. Donald Trump's a felon, convicted of felonies. He's a bad person. We can't let a criminal into the government. Every member founding the U.S. Constitution and this great country that has grown from the U.S. Constitution was a convicted felon of Great Britain. The people rebelling against the system, wanting to create change, wanting to disrupt, and wanting to do right by the people that founded this country were all felons. Shouldn't it be obvious that the good person they don't want in office? Shouldn't it be obvious that the one they're trying to kill is the one we need? And shouldn't it be a sign that a member of the most famous Democratic family, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., switched this year from Democratic to Republican, stating so many things that the party has lost its way, he doesn't stand with what they represent anymore, and is joining Donald Trump in his cabinet to make America healthy again, which I think as a young person is one of the biggest problems in America. The unhealthy food, the vaccines that were forced upon us. This is a major problem that is killing so many people. Obesity. You look at other countries, they're not fat like Americans, and I believe RFK will actually make a difference in this. But on the Democratic side, there's no mission forward on this side. And one of RFK's biggest points is he believes that the left is a threat to democracy, to free speech, all of these things. And that's the very thing that the left campaigns to be holding tried and true. We're going to protect democracy, all while doing the least democratic thing possible, suppressing RFK, not providing him with Secret Service, not allowing him to be a part of debates. Isn't that a part of democracy? Again, I'll let you ponder on that one. And me personally, I don't really like politicians. It's, oh, look at me, I'm nice, I'm this, I'm perfect, this is what I'm gonna do. I like the fact that Donald Trump is a businessman who has billions of dollars and won't be influenced by some deal or some treaty that's gonna make himself personally rich, which we all know the dirty game of politics. And
Absolutely right. We've seen it. And shout out to Jake Paul, man, for this video, putting this together. His team, they did an outstanding job piecing this together and just spreading facts, factual information, following it up with receipts, and then imploring the people that follow him, take some time, fact check everything that you just seen here, go do some digging, go do some additional research, and hopefully you will make the proper decision when it's time to go out there and vote. I want to show you something because there are so many young people out there that are walking away or that have already walked away from the Democratic Party, and it's just a sight to see. Check this out.
Donald Trump again. So I'll go to you, Tina. Who are you going for and why?
I mean, if it was between those two, I would obviously have to go with Trump. The economy was just wonderful. He was securing our border. I feel like, yes, there was divisive moments. Maybe he should have been off Twitter, but I would definitely vote for Trump if that was between those two.
Yeah, what about you, Lydia?
I would definitely vote for Trump. He put America first. He made sure that the people were always first, and it wasn't just in the best interest of the government. So I would definitely vote for Trump a third time.
What about you, Sydney?
Yeah, I would definitely go for Trump. I was like a huge Trumper. I have like this cup. So I would definitely go for him. But I also am considering like Vivek. I like his ideas.
Okay.
I think he has a fresh approach. So I am thinking about him.
Okay. Jelani, who are you going for?
I'm definitely going to go with Trump. I mean, regardless of how the news tries to paint him, he's still a family values kind of guy. And I mean, look at how the world's going right now since he's been out of office. I'm definitely going with him.
Yeah, you definitely sound like some of the brothers that I talked to in the barbershop. They just feel like they may have disagreed with some of his tone, but life was better for them. Y'all
Yeah. Tone doesn't food in your pantry. Tone doesn't pay bills. Who cares the tone of an individual if the policies make sense or the policies implemented made sense for you and your family? It gave you the ability, to continue to provide and take care of you and yours. Our borders were safer during that time frame. We didn't have all of this migrant crime going on during that time frame. Who cares about any of that type of stuff? Facts over feelings. Policies over your emotions. We got a couple of days until this election. And, until we get to election day, more or less. And I'm getting excited, but I'm still hesitant to say that we got this. But I am getting excited, and shout out to Jake Paul for his endorsement. I thought it was phenomenal. And you're seeing the tides change. Young people are leaning more towards conservatism because they see how radical the left has become. Dennis Prager, he said it. 2019, he was on the Bill Maher show and he was talking about, some things. You know what? Before we get out of here, I want you to see this.
To say America is anti-Semitic is a lie. To say it is racist is a lie. Okay, these are giant left-wing lies. To say that men can menstruate is a lie. And that is what is said.
Wait, where did that?
I never. You never heard it, right? Okay. Anyone who says a man cannot menstruate is considered transphobic.
I missed this whole story. Well, who is saying this? You're
talking
about a very small percentage.
Oh, really?
You said that we think that men menstruate and no one does.
I told you. What did I tell you?
Hey, we're living in a crazy world right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Consider joining the ARP family. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. And we'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.